Feeling sad? Can't stop thinking about your problems? People may also be judging you like a book by its cover without even knowing you. Maybe the problem is that you don't know what to show the world and what not. Let me tell you a story. I know it will help you. This is the case of Paula, a woman who was very talkative. He was always telling his problems to others. She said that she had a husband who mistreated her, that her children were criminals, and that her work was hell. Paula was obviously an unhappy person. She was always worried about her problems, and she couldn't stop thinking about them. One day her friend was listening to her attentively, but at one point she said, "Why are you always talking about your problems? Don't you realize that it only makes you more unhappy?" Paula was surprised. I had never thought about that before. Paula began to reflect on what her friend had told her. He realized he was right. Talking about her problems only made her think more about them, and that made her feel worse. In addition, many co-workers used their problems to affect her and take advantage of being recognized. But from that day on, Paula began to keep silent. He stopped telling his problems to others and began to focus on the positive things in his life. Do you know what happened? Paula began to feel happier. She was no longer worried about her problems, and she could enjoy the finer things in life. However, not only telling your problems can cause judgments in your life, but also other things that I will tell you next. Stay until the end to find the stoic spiritual and intellectual rebirth that you need right now in your life. But first, please subscribe to the channel so that this stoic family continues to grow. Now, let's get started. Number 1, you must not exhibit the struggles of your past. The idea that we should not exhibit the struggles of our past is an idea found in many different philosophies. This idea is based on the belief that we must be strong and resilient. For example, in Taoism, this idea is based on the belief that the universe is a place of constant change and transformation. In general, the idea that we should not exhibit the struggles of our past is based on the belief that it is important to be a strong and resilient person. If we focus on the past, we can lose perspective on the present and the future. We may also be more likely to feel victimized or to regret the things we can't change. Of course, there are times when it may be appropriate to share our struggles with others. For example, if we are looking for support or advice, it may be helpful to talk to a friend, family member, or therapist. However, it is important to do so in a way that is positive and constructive. The past no longer exists, only the present. Therefore, there is no point in regretting or getting angry about what happened or letting other people know you from your past. What matters is how we act now, with wisdom and virtue. In this way, we will be able to achieve inner peace and happiness. Don't get attached to painful memories or use them as an excuse to justify your actions. Only you are responsible for your life and your destiny. Seneca, the famous Stoic philosopher, had a very critical opinion about exposing our past. In his work, On the Brevity of Life, he wrote, "There is nothing more miserable than the man who devotes himself to touring the monuments of another and reading the writings of another, without having done anything worthy of memory for himself." What does it matter how long Augustus lived? He buried many illustrious men and was buried by only one. What does it matter how long Neron lived? His reign was longer than that of his crimes. What does it matter how long did Cato live? He lived long enough for himself, but not for his homeland. Don't measure your life by the number of years, but by the use you make of it. Don't ask yourself what you've done in the past, but what you can do in the present. Do not be proud of your ancestors, but of your virtues. Do not be ashamed of your mistakes, but of not correcting them. Do not expose yourself to the judgment of others, but to your own. True glory is not in being remembered, but in being wise. Number 2, don't give details of your goals, as it is better to stumble with your feet than with your tongue. Zeno of Citium. You don't want to reveal too much about your goal, as you could expose yourself to unnecessary risks. Many people already have a general idea of what you want to achieve, but they don't need to know the specifics of your strategy, your actions, or your thoughts. By sharing that information, you give them the opportunity to interfere with your plan, sabotage your work, or take advantage of you. If something goes wrong, you won't know if it was your fault or someone else's. You will also not be able to identify the person responsible, as there will be many suspects. Therefore, it is better to be discreet and reserved with your lens. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone, not even your friends. Only you should know how you're going to reach your goal. No one else is your partner or your boss. How can you maintain discretion? One way is to avoid discussing your plans with people you don't trust or who may have opposing interests to yours. You can also use ambiguous or generic language when asked about your goals without going into detail. Remember that you don't have to explain to anyone about every action you take or every thought you have. Only you are the master of your destiny and responsible for your success. So keep the details of your path to yourself and move forward with confidence and determination. As Epictetus said, "Do not boast of your progress or make it known. If you want to know it yourself, do it for yourself." So keep quiet until the right time comes. Speak up when you've done what you were supposed to do. Number 3, don't fake the amount of joy. Marcus Aurelius said, "Joy must be like a perfume. It must be diffused, but it must not be spilled." This means that joy should be shared with others, but it should not be exaggerated or excessive. In general, Stoics believe that joy is a positive emotion that should be cultivated. However, they also believe that it is important to be prudent with the joy we show, so that it is not misinterpreted or used to manipulate others. When you show a sincere smile, people are amazed at your positive attitude. Some will envy you, others will criticize you and accuse you of pretending. They can't believe that someone can have such deep inner peace. Therefore, I advise you to be prudent with your joy. If they ask you how you are, respond sparingly. Don't say you're great, but you're fine. Don't brag about how well everything is going for you. Happiness in a world full of hopelessness can be dangerous because there are bitter and dissatisfied people who want to disturb the tranquility of those who have found peace. Number 4, don't show off your problems. One way to take care of your relationship is not to disclose your conflicts or your intimacies on the internet. Don't seek comfort from other people if something makes you uncomfortable about your partner or friends. According to psychology, exposing to the world the problems we have had with our friends or partner can increase our stress and anxiety. If we are constantly thinking about our problems and how others perceive them, we can feel more stressed and anxious. It can also affect our self-esteem. We don't want to feel ashamed or guilty about our problems, and it can make it harder to solve problems. It is best to talk directly with the partner or friend in question and look for solutions together. Communication and trust are essential to maintain a healthy and lasting relationship. According to Stoicism, exposing problems with our partner or friends in the first place can damage our reputation. Second, it can damage our relationships. And thirdly, it can be a form of manipulation. Epictetus said, "Do not talk about your private affairs with anyone, because what is said in private can become public." Remember that you should not externalize these discomforts either. You cannot take what happens in your home to the world, because it will only awaken chaos in your life and open more doors where we will find more problems to solve. Number 5, don't talk about your financial status. You don't want to disclose your financial situation to anyone, regardless of your income or debt level. First, because you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. Second, because doing so can generate envy, resentment, or false friendships. People often judge others for their money, without considering other more important aspects. Therefore, it is best to maintain a certain degree of discretion and mystery about your personal finances. And in the event that someone exposes their financial situation, remember, our Stoic ancestors maintained that happiness and virtue did not depend on external circumstances, but on the internal attitude of each person. The Stoic school wants you to understand that boasting about one's financial status was considered a form of vanity and attachment to material things, which could lead to suffering and frustration. The Stoics recommended practicing moderation, gratitude, and generosity, and avoiding comparing yourself to others or judging them by their wealth or poverty. Thus, a fuller and more harmonious life could be achieved based on self-control and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius said, Money can be used for good or for evil. If used to help others, it is a positive force. However, if it is used to satisfy one's selfish desires, it can be a destructive force. Marcus Aurelius also believed that it was important to be humble about money. I didn't think it was necessary to boast about our wealth or show it off in an ostentatious way. Number 6. Don't let others know what really worries or distresses you. Don't let others know what really worries or distresses you, as they could take advantage of your vulnerability or judge you negatively. Instead, show a calm and confident attitude, reflecting your ability to face challenges and solve problems. This way, you will be able to generate trust and respect in others, whether in the work, social, or personal sphere. This is a strategy that is based on Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to control our emotions and focus on what depends on us. It is also supported by positive psychology, which invites us to cultivate our strengths and see opportunities in difficulties. Remember that despair will not get you anywhere, but will prevent you from seeing the solutions and will take you away from your goals. So, if you feel like you can't control your mood, it's best to take some time for yourself and seek professional help if necessary. In short, acting calmly and confidently is essential to succeeding in life. Remember that in this life, we must move forward with firm steps, without hesitation, knowing our battlefield, and responding intelligently. In this way, you will not only act like a true Stoic, but you will also be happier and more successful. For more tips on Stoicism, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you'll be informed when more videos like this one are uploaded. Well, we say goodbye.